What current events are good examples of shame?
We have become so good at avoiding reasons for shame that we are hardly exposed to it. So I've made a list of some events that may express this emotion. There are many different examples of shame around us in society, such as being personally rejected, being overly enthusiastic and then being shut down, being addicted, being sexually betrayed by a lover or spouse, and looking different, including dressing wrong or strange.
What physical changes does the experience of shame cause in an individual's body and brain?
There are changes to an individual's emotional expression, brain activity, physical reaction, and body chemistry that occur during shame. Physical reactions along with emotional expressions are the most obvious. When one feels shame, their posture changes by lowering their head, curving their body, averting their gaze to make them appear smaller, a nervous smile, tears, and a red face, which is normally associated with embarrassment. People who feel ashamed want to withdraw or hide and often look down or away. The increase of these biological chemicals leaves a person feeling lethargic and decreases the desire to social interaction. These changes help the body prepare to respond to the shaming situation, providing additional motivation needed to withdraw from a potentially damaging social threat. Shame is associated with an increased cortisol level, heightened immune response, and an increased cardiovascular reactivity, which is high blood pressure, and also an increased heart rate.
How is shame expressed in different cultures?
In some cultures, shame can be used as a tool to control and conform mass amount of people, which are often referred as shame societies. Shame is more common in collective or hunter-gatherer societies, in that the individual needs the support of many people to survive and see themselves as part of a larger whole.
Shame is more linked on how others in the group view the individual and the negative consequences it may carry.
Their survival depends much on how the members of the group may view them through being subordinate to the more powerful and the dominant, not rising in rank or prestige in one's lifetime, and at its absolute worst, social rejection.
Shame is more prominent in these societies. In contrast, societies that are more individualistic in nature employ guilt to control their people.
Individualistic cultures are centered around the self and independence, instead of identifying with a group mentality. These societies are called guilt societies. Guilt through these societies is self-imposed, through self-punishment, with little consideration of others' public awareness.
Shame is usually overshadowed by guilt in these societies, where guilt is entirely non-existent in some collective cultures.
What physical expressions are associated with shame?
There are many physical expressions associated with shame, such as attempting to hide face with hands, blushing, which is reddening of face, neck, and possibly upper chest, dilating pupils, sweating, closed eyes, shifty eyes averted downward with a saddened or worried appearance, pressed lips, removal of oneself from company to seek isolation. People who were shamed in their childhood will feel shame in their adulthood because it has been programmed as a reaction. In primates, after the dominant individual has succeeded in forcing the other into submission, the losing side will keep his or her eyes aimed downward to acknowledge loss and end the conflict.
What is the difference between shame, humiliation, and embarrassment?
Shame reevaluates one person's self-worth, which results in anger escaping or disappearing. This emotion gives you less self-control and more focus on other people's opinions. This leads to moral implications. Guilt involves one's regret and remorse, which makes a person want to repair the situation, while embarrassment is a more physiological reaction than shame and guilt. It is a trivial emotion which usually involves a need of an audience, such as a presentation that can be real or imagined. They are all reflective experiences, meaning the individual wish that the situation could have changed.
What physical changes does the experience of shame cause in an individual?